Rising COVID-19 case numbers in Ontario are prompting tighter restrictions in that province, including mandatory masks in public indoor spaces. Now, a Vancouver City Councillor is calling for the same measure here.
There are people that say, well, you know, the provincial health officer has not mandated mandatory masks at this stage, so why would Vancouver do it? But I would note that Dr. Bonnie Henry says that it is a good best practice to do if you're going to be indoors, if you can't physically distance the entire time, or you may be spending a longer period of time indoors.
Vancouver City Councillor Sarah Kirby-Young's motion is to have council endorse a policy that makes it mandatory to wear masks in civic facilities. That means you'll have to wear one in community centres, public libraries, recreational facilities, or Vancouver City Hall.
And the reason that I'm doing that now is that the majority of our civic facilities have actually been closed throughout the pandemic. And as we start to open up now, we see an increasing number of cases and people, the winter weather is coming, people are going to be spending time indoors. I think it's a best practice that the city can demonstrate leadership on.
Vancouver isn't the only city in the Lower Mainland considering a mandatory mask policy. Mayor Malcolm Brody says the city of Richmond has an extensive plan for reopening its civic spaces, which include a unanimously agreed upon mask wearing policy that goes to Richmond Council on October 13.
It's getting towards the time that we'll be reopening the City Hall to more activity. While we're following the lead of Delta, Vancouver is following the lead of Richmond.
How would you go about enforcing such a thing at civic facilities?
You don't have a mask on, we ask you to put your mask on. If you don't have a mask, then we give you a mask to wear at the time. Ultimately, if you simply will not comply with the request, then we'll ultimately refuse you service.
Mayor Brody says he's confident most people will comply. In Vancouver, Kirby-Young doesn't want to see fines or punitive enforcement, instead simply asking people to wear a mask if they want to use civic facilities. And there would be exceptions for children under 5 and people with disabilities or medical conditions who can't wear a mask.
I hope that we take as many preventative measures as we can. When we look at the news coming out of Ontario and the fact that they're now having to move to close down all of their public recreation and a number of facilities, I just want to know as a city councillor that we're doing everything that we can to try to avoid that, because shutdowns are really harmful to people.
Kirby-Young will bring the motion to Vancouver City Council on October 20th. In Vancouver, Kier Junos, City News.